Looks like Nikki is ready, so we're going to get started. I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the Neshoba Regional School Committee tonight on September 11, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. If you would like, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first item on the agenda is citizens' comments. I'm not seeing any citizens in the gallery. And therefore, we will continue on with the consent agenda. We'll start with a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda of June 5th, 2024, containing draft meeting minutes of June 5th, 2024, and August 29th, 2024, and warrants of September 13th, 2024.
Do I have a second? Second. Thanks, Sharon. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, motion passes. Thank you very much for the consent agenda. School committee chairperson update is next, but I have nothing beyond the regular agenda to update you on. Well, I take it back. There is one small detail that I do want to recognize. We have a member of our Bolton delegation has decided to step down from the school committee. And so Jessie Davis is actually no longer on the school committee, and Bolton is actually at this time seeking to fill that vacancy. You may also remember that Dana Ellis has also stepped down from the school committee in Stowe, and so therefore we have a vacancy in Stowe as well. Both of these are posted on the websites of the town government, so if anyone in the public is interested in filling that vacancy, they should submit a letter of interest to the suite. That is very quickly, and we shall proceed from there according to the regional agreement rules on how to fill that vacancy. So that is actually all I have to share. So with that, I will turn it over to our student representative. Hi, Ava, welcome. Maybe if you wouldn't mind, just introduce yourself one quick time because you are stepping up. You're going to be the elder.
Yes, I am. Okay, my name's Ava. I'm from Lancaster, and I'm a senior this year. And this is my second year on school committee.
We're so glad you're back.
I'm happy to be back.
And I recognize that your school is engaged in student government elections and that you hope to bring on a junior member.
Yes, so the elections for new students school committee representative will be held next week for a junior. The interest/application survey went out for members of the junior class to put their names, and then we will vote next week sometime like starting Monday. And so that new representative will be here for the next meeting, which is really exciting. I'm excited. We had Wolf Day on the first Friday of the week back to school, and it was really fun, and we hope to do it again at least one more time this year. But personally, I really hope it comes back a lot more. It was really fun. Neshoba Field Hockey had their annual Michelle Farnsworth game Monday night against Leominster. JV tied 3-3 and varsity won 3-0. Money was raised for the Michelle Scholarship. Football has their first home game on Friday against Shepherd Hill, and the activity fair will be during Long Walk on the 19th. For the parking update, it's going well. We're on the third week of school, and everyone knows the routine, so that's pretty all settled in. The cell phone policy from the admin and teacher side of things, it seems to be going well with minimal issues. And we have themed events planned this fall through the leaders of STUCO and other student leaders in homecoming and a community service drive for Thanksgiving. These events in Wolf Day were inspired by students' ideas and feedback. That's all I have.
Thanks so much, Ava. So September is a really exciting time for our public schools, and it sounds like you guys are off to a great start.
Yes.
I have one question that I'll jump in with. Can you just explain to the committee and to anybody listening, what is Wolf Day and what made it so great?
So Wolf Day, we had half day of classes, and then the rest of the day was activities that students signed up for. There was a form that went out, and you could do activities like bracelet making, you could play volleyball, you could go outside, walk the track, play outside games. And I thought it was really fun, especially without the phones. I don't know, it was just really fun to engage with other people and not have school. And I think everyone liked it. Everyone that I talked to liked it, and they wanted to come back.
I didn't realize that the phone stayed inside, so that's really impressive.
Yeah. That was the only time that I was for no phones.
Any other questions for Ava? All right, well, as always, we appreciate you being here, able to
Of
give us an
course.
update. And we look forward to welcoming you and your partner at the next one.
Yes, we'll see you guys at the next one. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so we're going to go on to our next item, and that is the superintendent's report. So review.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome back, everyone, to another school year, 24-25 this year. It's great to be here with you tonight. Had a few things to bring out in announcements in the superintendent's report. We've kicked off our new K-5, K-8 5-day schedule. Get that out of my mouth. And all indications are it's been launched with quite a bit of success. We have some bugs to work out, we know that. So we're actually meeting with NRSC leadership tomorrow. We're going to, I'm certain, talk about some of those things and get some feedback from principals at our principals meeting tomorrow. So we can fine tune what we need to do in that, but I do think that that has been a success to this point. Last year, we voted into a policy, new communications policy. It expanded on, had expectations around things of timely communications, and then in terms of web presence and classroom presence digitally. And so all that training was conducted and done with faculty and staff at their schools, so we're rolling. And I know that Bridget and Jed are going to be working hard all throughout the fall to bring the training to our teachers to make sure all the elements that are there are going to be in their pages. So we're excited about that, and that's underway. Dr. Khalees Warnham came and delivered a stirring keynote address to our faculty and staff on September 3rd. And we really focused in on how to create welcoming classrooms and a sense of belonging through culturally proficient instructional practices. Dr. Warnham's appearance was received with high regards from our faculty and staff. We did a thought exchange and gathered lots of information from our faculty and staff. We've got a resounding demand for her to return and expand the course offerings that Dr. Warnham did with us, if you recall, with the leadership group as well as our district equity team. So we hope to continue that relationship with Dr. Warnham. So that went really, really well. I do want to, it says introducing, and I think that's a misleading word. Ms. Murdoch is not here tonight for me to introduce, but I should announce to the committee, to our community, what we put out last week, and that is Jessica Murdoch has accepted the position of Director of Human Resources for Neshoba Regional School District. She's coming to us from Fitchburg State University, where she is the Vice President of Human Resources there, and we couldn't be more delighted and more excited to have her join us. So once we have her on board, we'll certainly schedule time for her to come and meet the committee in person. But again, we're just delighted that she's going to be joining us, and conflicted as we appreciate and care deeply for Miss Anna Marie Stoika and the wonderful job she's done leading our Human Resources Department here in Neshoba. So the end of the month is going to be bittersweet on the floor for us as we transition during this time. So. That being said, I want to move into the food services update, and I think I will toss it over to Mr. Mulcairn to take the next couple of items for us.
Great. Thank you, Superintendent Downing. Thank you to the committee for the opportunity to update you on these items today. Before I begin, and it's not on the superintendent's report, I do just want to do a quick thank you to Rob Frieswick and the entire facility staff for the work they did this summer in preparing our buildings. What's unique about this summer and deserves a little bit of light shined on it is the fact that Mr. Friesen was pulled into the enabling work at the high school site quite a bit, and our custodial staff, under the lead of our head custodians, really carried out the vision of knowing exactly what our schools needed to look like on day one, without Rob being available as usually he is at the end of the summer because of the enabling at the high school. So thank you to them. Within food services, we've had a successful start with our new partnership with Whitson's. Myra Maldonado from Whitson's is working closely with our kitchen managers to continue the success of the first few days with regards to our new systems, equipment, menus, recipes, and all those upgrades and updates that we're doing. And a huge shout out of gratitude to our kitchen staff who are rolling with those new systems, menus, and the recipes, which are a big shift, and we're asking a lot of them, and they're really stepping up in their service to students. They're providing valuable feedback, but we think the best feedback is the positives that we're getting from students and from families with the new menus. So we encourage you to visit the nutrition services on our website for more information about our partnership and those menus and other important details. All families are encouraged to download the Whitson's menu planner app so that they can build profiles for their students, and it's the most sort of easiest way to be able to view those menus and get the nutritional information and allergen information as well. So we'll continue to update the district community on our work with Whitson's, which will include the menu tastings for students, better recycling and composting practices, and the formation of a school nutrition advisory board, which will include parents and students as well as our own staff on it. As far as students' services transportation goes, I know that Manish is here today, but in the spring we notified you that the contract for our in-district special services transportation through ABC in our partnership and our collaboration with them would have a new servicer. This contract began on July 1 and was to continue through the school year in partnership with ABC and another district that was under the same portion of the contract. We evaluated the transportation services provided during the summer, and it yielded the decision that we needed to cancel that contract. So our contract has now been awarded to the next responsive bidder, which is Cabs for Kids, and all signs point to that this was a good move, and we are in good shape with that level of transportation so far at the beginning of the school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mulcairn. And if we'll just keep the ball rolling, I would like to introduce Assistant Superintendent Friend to give us an Innovation Pathways announcement and shift straight into the strategic work. So, Assistant Superintendent.
Thank you, Superintendent Downing, and thank you to the committee for giving me an opportunity to present an announcement and some updates on our strategic work. The first, as it relates to our Innovation Pathways Welcome Reception, which we held on August 26th, where we officially launched our 2 Innovation Pathways programs, Advanced Manufacturing and Engineering and Business and Finance. We have 36 students enrolled in one of 2 pathways. The welcome reception was well attended on the 26th. We had families and students engaged. The event was led by our coordinator, our Innovation Pathways coordinator, that is Bridget Hannigan. The event included short presentations from Superintendent Downing, Ms. Hannigan, and our initial program partners, as well as a special presentation from a 22-year-old entrepreneur from Austin, Texas, who gave a really impactful presentation and advice to our students. Students were able to meet their teachers, mix and mingle. Not sure about the mixing and the mingling part, but they did enjoy the refreshments. And they even received an Innovation Pathways t-shirt with our new Innovation Pathways branding and logo. So it was formal, but casual, and well received. Ms. Hannigan has numerous future events planned, and we look forward to keeping this committee updated on our progress and momentum, including our hopeful addition of a 3rd pathway next year.
Please feel free to carry on for the strategic work.
So the first 2 updates with regards to our strategic updates are related to professional development. The first about our Neshoba Summer Academy, which seems like a bit ago now, but worthy of noting and celebrating. Our Summer Academy began right at the conclusion of the last school year. Participation in our Summer Academy with our Neshoba educators was strong. We had 110 educators participating in 1 or more offerings. Offerings are listed in the superintendent's update, from training on our new literacy curriculum, to training in support of our language learners, to a Harvard edX Introduction to DataWise course, a book study on the Joyful Teacher, and continued learning about our Renaissance Assessment and Diagnostic Suite. We also had several curriculum working groups, which are listed as well in the update, including updating our advisory program at the middle level to integrate MIFA, which is a planning resource supported by the Commonwealth to help students with developing awareness of self and potential future interests for high school and beyond. And that work will, beginning in middle school, help support engagement with our innovation pathways as our students step forward into high school. We also had a new course built for the high school, and that was product development, which will support students in either of our innovation pathways programs. The second update relative to professional development is about a more recent day, and that's August 26th, where we welcomed our faculty and staff back to school with professional development and training. Much like Summer Academy, offerings were intended to both meet the needs of specific roles and grade levels while working to continue to address our initiatives and our larger systemic work at the strategic level. You can see the list provided in the superintendent's update, but offerings range from continued literacy training in support of our new literacy curriculum in K-5 to unit pacing and alignment for our related arts teams to support our new K-8 district-aligned schedule and training by Director Demanch on the new IEP process for our special education teams and providers. Our high school work included the beginnings of a self-assessment phase for NEASC with a collaborative conference scheduled for them next fall, and the launch of our new Portrait of an Neshoba graduate digital learner portfolios this year. And more information about our Portrait of an Neshoba digital graduate Portrait of an Neshoba, this is a mouthful. Portrait of an Neshoba, I'm not even going to look at my words, I'm just going to say it, that will make it easier. Portrait of an Neshoba graduate digital learner portfolios will be provided in the next update, the next topic. I'm sure I've written it again. The next update is relative to our new portfolios at the high school, and I'd like to provide credit to Assistant Principal Janine Boulay, Dr. Boynton, our Director of Digital Learning and Innovation, Jed Stefanowitz, and our high school teacher Portrait of an Neshoba graduate working group. That group worked diligently this summer and to launch our new Portrait of an Neshoba graduate portfolios, which will happen this year. These portfolios are intended to provide a connection between our competencies, learning in the classroom and outside of the classroom, and most importantly, provide students an opportunity to tell their own story with embedded choice. Students will work through their portfolios this year during homeroom with the expectation those will then transfer into the classroom work next year. The goal will be for students to showcase one artifact per competency by the end of this school year. Our hope is that the portfolios will be a work of celebration and accomplishment and also be useful tools for our students to help complement the college and job application process. Seniors will look to showcase their portfolios in the spring. Last topic? Okay, last topic. The final teaching and learning update is in support of our new literacy curriculum and the partnership that we share with our families. Curriculum Director Laura Padgington and I will be hosting 3 family information sessions for families to learn more about our new EL curriculum and all of its parts and how families can help support their children at home. These sessions serve as the official launch as well of our NRSC Family University, with more to come on that front. Interested families are asked to register for one of 3 sessions. We are providing 1 in-person session and 2 virtual sessions, and we will also be providing a recording of one of the virtual sessions for those families who are unable to attend. Families can find the registration information in last week's Common, linked in the superintendent's report, and we will provide it again in this week's Common on Friday.
Thank you. So as you can see, the opening report tends to be a beefy one as we're covering our summer activities and the opening of the school, but we would love to entertain any questions from the community.
Let's take it one half at a time. So is there anything about the opening of school, the food services update, Director of Human Resources, Transportation, or Innovation Pathways? Go ahead.
I just wanted to, highlight to the community and ask if people want to give feedback about the the new nutrition program and/or interest in advisory committee, would they reach out to you?
So with regards to the advisory, that will go out, or I would say invites for that will probably go out through the Common.
Okay.
And we'll give that repeated message over a couple of weeks to give people ample opportunity. And then as far as feedback goes, it can go to me, or it can go to the director at Whitson's, whose email is available on the website. So, yeah, thank you.
Great. Anything else in the first half of the superintendent update? All right.
Include the transportation part.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you. I think that was a really responsible decision that the district made.
You're welcome.
I actually think, I know that the transportation piece was a cost savings that we had identified in the budget the last time around. Is there a cost increase as a result of this?
By virtue of the fact of going to the second bidder, there will be. We'll understand more how that shakes out later, and I'm sure Mr. Mulcairn will be reporting to Budget and Warrant Subcommittee on how that projects over the year.
Great. Okay. Let's move on to the strategic work, the second half of the update. Any questions? Yeah, Annie?
Yeah, the Summer Academy, so that's an optional opportunity available to educators in Neshoba who want to, who need relicensure. Is that kind of how to sum it up?
Yeah, so it's an opportunity for some of the sessions to receive PDPs for relicensure, and some of the opportunities are just to continue professional learning.
Okay, so you said 100 educators took part?
Yeah, 110.
That's awesome. What percentage of our educators did that?
Or
It's somewhere near 30, that's about 30%, almost 30%.
Thank you.
and some of the educators participated in more than one session.
Any other questions? Shonda, was that you? Okay. I would just like to comment on the portfolio piece. I think it's an excellent way to help vision for the portrait of a graduate come to life and make it real for the kids. It's hard to kind of bring these things into the classroom, so this is an excellent way of doing it. When you said that they're going to highlight them at the end of the year, will there be a showcase?
At the senior spring showcase, that's the intention.
That seniors do share their.
That's the intention right now. The ideas, and plans are still developing, but that's the goal right now. Yeah. I would love, with permission from the students, identified students, if appropriate, to perhaps share an example or two with the committee, if appropriate.
That would be excellent.
Just have a clarifying question. When you say they identified students, does that mean going forward, not every student and every, so like all incoming freshmen won't necessarily
Every
have this?
student.
Okay.
Permission from identified students to share.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough.
Awesome. Any other questions about the update? All right. So you have been busy, as always. Thank you for that update, everyone. Let's move the next item on the agenda. So we're going to head over to new business. And the first piece here is our Student Services Director entry plan. I'm going to let Kurt cue it up.
Thank you. I want to invite to the table Ms. Loran Demange. You had a chance to meet Loran last year, as she is our Director of Student Services, and we couldn't be more delighted to have her. And tonight, as for those of you that have been on the committee for a while, you're familiar with the entry process that I do with the leaders in our school system. For those of you that are new to the committee, the entry process is a way for a leader to come in and spend some time sort of assessing the landscape of the school district, to learn about the school district, to learn about the people, to learn about the cultures, the traditions, the strengths, identify areas of places that we can work on or grow. And so tonight, Mr. Manch is here and is going to spend a few minutes just describing you the plan. This is a brief presentation tonight. You will get a more comprehensive presentation of the findings later. And Mr. Manch, I believe we accelerated that timeline for you, and we're looking at December as the time to come back and share some findings. So with that, I turn it over to Ms. Manch.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I am so happy to be sitting here in front of you. As you all know, I have been doing this work in another community for years, but coming here has really excited and reinvigorated my work. in my passion for this work. And part of that is coming here and being welcomed into the community. Even from the first week, phone calls, knocks on my door, people coming in, the staff are very passionate about the work they do, and they want to share as much as they can with me. And so it's been so welcoming. And families have been contacting me throughout the summer to provide feedback, ask for if they can be of any help or assistance. So it's really made it an easy transition for me to work here. There is a lot to look at. Student services, it looks at not just special education, but also now 504 students, and that process sits under the department, along with early childhood and nursing. Even though we have directors for that, I assist and kind of monitor some of their work as well. So part of my work is just really looking at the whole aspects of the entire department, and where we're seeing some strengths with the department, where we need some growth. I have 3 women in my office that have been in the district for many, many years, Linda, Liz, and Kathy, and I couldn't do this without them. They have provided me with all the information that I need quickly, and they know where everything is. The other positive aspect of this process for me is really looking at, we have a new IEP rollout with the state this year. So it's actually a good opportunity for us to really dive into how we write IEPs, what service delivery is on them, because we have to transition to this new process. And so all the team chairs are helping with that currently right now. I have weekly meetings with them. That will continue throughout the year. But my overall goal is to really look at the services under special education of 504, what's being recommended, what needs of the students and families have, and how they're interacting with the school and the services in the building and the classroom. What instructional approaches are schools and teachers taking, what materials are they using, and professional development that's needed. I'm also, under the 504, really diving more into what does guidance look like, what social emotional supports are happening. I reviewed the MTSS manual that the assistant superintendent or a friend in a group have designed, and diving into that for what services are needed for instruction and professional development for students and families. And it's just really trying to understand, how does the community feel about this department? What's the history of the department? How can we bridge and make communication better and make sure that families feel comfortable talking to us, and that we're listening and responding in the way that we should. So that's all the work that sits in front of me between now and December. I will say it's always ongoing work, and it always should be ongoing work. And so I'll be doing a lot of that work just by looking at documentations. I've set up weekly meetings with the team chairs. I sit on the cabinet, so I get information that way. I've met with all the principals to date. I do go into the buildings on a weekly basis to meet with staff. I've met with the CPAC chair, Pamela Duggan, twice now, and so we're ongoing with that communication as well. I will be starting to send out regular communications to the community, so that they kind of hear that I'm here for them if they want to reach out, if any family wants to reach out. So I will be doing that. But I will be looking at all the policies, reviewing the previous fiscal history of the department, and making some decisions around what might be some next steps that can make the department run more smoothly or support our students' needs.
Thank you, Mr. Minch.
Yes, it's a quick timeline, but I'm excited about it. And
When we sat down to lay down the timeline, we said it would be important for us to really wrap up this entry process and accelerate away this year in preparation for budget season and any recommendations that would come out of this process that could have budgetary impact. So that's one of the reasons for the acceleration of this process. You'll notice in terms of the format of this plan, you might recognize it because to demonstrate the collegiality we have on our team, I know both Mr. Mulcairn and Assistant Superintendent Friend have volunteered their efforts through their entry processes with Mr. DeManch. So it's a lot of good teamwork and camaraderie on the team as well.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for caring and helping us understand your trajectory. We are excited for your work. I would just like to point out that Lindsay is our CPAC liaison.
Perfect.
And so, working with Pam Duggan and with you, I know that all things good are coming our way. So I wonder if the committee has any questions or comments? Amy?
Yeah, I was wondering, are you going to be very involved in the equity work that they're doing around looking at students with 504s and IEPs and what classes they're taking and being a big part of that conversation here at the beginning?
Yes, I always find that to be at the central piece of the work that this job entails, even before the equity report, because you really want to look at, are students being inclusive? Are they being included in the community? Are they being included in their school? And what feedback am I getting around that? So I'm always very much focused on that, because you really want students to get the full benefit of the general education environment and their community environment.
I have one other question.
Yeah,
if that's
of course.
okay. My other question is, I know you're going to be looking at reports and talking to different people. I was wondering if you were going to be visiting like academic support rooms, like getting a feel for what's going on
Oh, yes.
in some of those classrooms and stuff.
Yes. I don't like to sit in the office. I actually made a visit. I've toured 2 buildings already since the start of the school year to really go in during the school day, and I'll be making that a regular practice just so I can see the instruction, talk to the staff, see the students in action, and really help. I'm also meeting with the team chairs in their buildings so that I get a feel for the culture and how things are really working and running.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very best. Good efforts. Okay, everybody, so moving the agenda, the next item here, we had a small snafu on the school committee calendar. I think that one of the meeting dates mistakenly landed on April vacation.
Mistakenly.
And so we are just going to reference the meeting material. If you could look at in the materials, the revised calendar, the April date, the April school committee meeting date has just been moved to the 30th. Is that right, Alita?
Yes.
So that then gives us back-to-back meetings, but with the end of the year, fast and furious coming at us, I think that it's probably a necessary element. Why don't we, if there's any discussion before taking a motion, I would welcome it. All right, so maybe Amy can make the motion for us.
So I move to amend the 24-25 school committee meeting calendar that moves the April 23rd meeting to April 30th.
Do I have a second? Second. Thanks, Lindsay. Any discussion? Everybody's okay with it, so let's vote. All those in favor? All right, so that motion passes. So it will be amended. I think it was, I'm going to give credit to Jackie Spataro for bringing that to me. So thank you out there, Jackie, if you're watching. We appreciate you helping us all the time. So that was that. All right, now on to unfinished business. Look at us cruising right along. It's a record.
Amazing.
Let's keep going. Let's say we're on a roll. Let's keep going.
So the salary ranges is the next item on unfinished business. And so what we would like to do is take a motion on a decision that, you want to say something first?
I was just going to ask if you wanted me to set it up.
That would be wonderful. So we are going to take a vote on the salary ranges and address some of the things that were perhaps a little out of date. But yeah, Kirk, help us understand what's going on.
Great, thank you. In your packet is included a memo that was provided to you for our executive session on August 29th, and we conducted that session in executive session because it was relative to bargaining for a contract, relative to our human resources director position. But it was at that time that we took the salary ranges for non-rep personnel administrators from March of 2022 and did the repair work essentially of applying the increases that were expressed in the unit aid contract over the previous 3 years to develop in the table that's also in your pack the recommended salary ranges for fiscal year 25. And action was taken in that executive session, and so as required, the committee just needs to replicate that action in open session for the benefit of the public.
Excellent. So Amy, would you mind making the motion?
I move to approve the salary ranges as presented on August 29th, 2024, and outlined in the memo in the meeting materials.
I'll second that. Is there any discussion for the public? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of the salary range adjustment? Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kirk. So, what is that? So next we have the school committee manual, and you guys have the most up-to-date version that is in the meeting materials. This is something that we worked with our communications subcommittee under the guidance of Sharon and others. You guys renovated that manual to make it more user-friendly. We are tonight going to take a vote to approve the manual. But Sharon, would you like to give us any additional information on this? Anything we need to know?
I don't think there's any additional information. You and Amy went through it during the summer, and so we've had some really close eyes looking at it. And I think the question that I had was that what I sent to you is, I feel like there's still some formatting that needs to be done on it. So although the content is complete, I think that there still will be some formatting to make it a little bit more approachable.
Yeah. So that, as long as the committee is okay with changing the bullet sizes and indentations, we are going to take the manual, the substance of the manual as is, linked in the materials. So Amy?
I move to approve the school committee manual as presented on August 29th, 2024.
Okay, and that date, by the way, was the workshop. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why we keep calling that date out. So at the workshop, we did look this over and we kind of approved everything that the subcommittee had done last year in their meetings. So do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
Ooh, I think I saw Sharon's hand. Any discussion?
A couple things.
Yeah. Oh, Sean.
It sort of goes beyond formatting, but there's strike-throughs in the document that haven't been removed, like under approval of other administrative positions.
Yeah.
So I think those should be removed.
So that is something that we fixed at the workshop. What page are you on, Chandra?
6.
Yep.
So Chandra, are you saying that that is not formatting?
Well, the example was bullet points. I just want to make sure that we clean that up too. If
Yes.
we want to call that formatting, that's fine, but
Yeah, so they've been stricken and they should no longer be there. So we can just delete those.
But can you give me access to that document? Because I'm not anymore. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but no.
I shall.
Thank you.
Hold on. I have 4 Google accounts, so it can get a little hairy over here. Okay.
I thought 2 was annoying.
Black. Okay, so I'm going to share it with you, Sharon. Make sure that you can edit. Okay.
Thank you.
And to that end, some of the links aren't accessible because they're not shared. So like the one in public hearings,
What page?
8. I haven't checked them all, but probably should make sure that everything we link to is accessible.
By you specifically? Like you couldn't get to all of them?
Which one, Chandra?
Page 8, public hearings, the link to Appendix 7.
Oh, weird. I don't know why I am like the hoarder of these documents right now. Hold on. Remove the link.
Privilege
Same thing
being
with
the
the
chair.
links to the appendices.
I didn't even create these, so I don't know why I'm hoarding them. Can you try again, Chandra?
Sure.
And that solves that
Ta-da!
one. Yeah, that's one problem solved, but Sharon and I will go through and make sure, or Sharon will go through and make sure that everything is accessible, the links. Anything else? Any other discussion?
So, a couple things. First of
Yeah.
all, were the strike-throughs in here the only changes that were made, or did we discuss the changes at the
At the
retreat?
workshop?
Yeah, because I find it difficult to see what's changed without the strike-throughs. So,
The strike-throughs are the only change at the workshop.
Which is what we had seen presented to us in June. So that was when we reviewed like the more.
and the only other thing is we didn't do the workshop on the 29th. I'm pretty sure it was a couple weeks before that.
I was a little confused
Yeah,
too.
the 24th is our executive session.
Okay, so it was the 21st? Does that ring a bell? So we can shift. Amy, do you mind if we amend your motion to say as presented on August 21st?
That's totally fine with me, or we could just say as presented tonight.
Yeah, although you've already amended it,
Yeah.
or you've already motioned it. Sharon, is that okay? You were the seconder, so we're going to shift that motion to include, to say August 21st, 2024 at the workshop.
So can I just thought, if you want to look at a little bit in more detail the changes that were in the manual, I think I can give you access to the one that we had last spring, which was the manual with the comments next to it saying this corresponds to this section. And the reason for that, and the reason why it wasn't redlined, is because there was so much reformatting and condensing of sections that
Difficult.
it was difficult to present it as a redlined.
So I don't think my level of interest or concern rises to justify that level of work, so that's not necessary, but thank you.
And the very last link in the document also is not accessible, at least to me.
Page
20.
Oh. My
It's a big
Google-
document, we understand.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have access to that last one either. I wonder, Sharon, if you have access to that page 20. It just says link to the appendices.
I will check. I will make sure that all of the links are working and find out. Some of that stuff Karen was working on, and so some of it may have been shared to me and to Amy
Yeah, Karen worked on that
only,
link.
which might be why you don't have access to those links.
She was
I'm
the
not
owner.
sure.
Yeah, sure.
Just reach out to Leah if you need us. She can open that account and
Okay.
change the document if need be. Just let me know.
Okay, so if that went away with Karen, then we can fix that. All right, everybody.
So, I hate to be persnickety about this, but what does the proposed, what's the wording that we're approving right now as far as the Amy's motion is concerned?
As amended, it would read, move to approve the school committee manual as presented on August 21st, 2024.
Subject to formatting and link revisions or something along those lines?
All right, any other questions? All right, so this was a beast of a task, and we really appreciate you guys taking it on in communication. Okay. Chandra has another question.
Is this link not that?
Oh, it is, but what about the athletics one? That was you guys.
I don't know. That looks like it should have a link there.
Just another link thing that
Yeah.
needs to be fixed.
Broken links. Okay, we'll fix all the broken links. All right, so all those in favor of the policy manual approval, or excuse me, the school committee manual approval? All right, thanks, guys. So, yeah, good job, guys. Thank you, Sharon, for all of that. So the next item on the agenda is school committee goals presentation, and I am going to, hopefully without objection from the committee, move this to a future agenda, the next agenda. Just giving subcommittees a little bit more time to formulate. I know that all the subcommittees are meeting in the month of September, but do you think that it would be best if we moved this conversation to the first week of October? Meaning our third meeting.
I would. Is that open for discussion?
Yeah, I'm asking.
I would prefer that we present on those sooner rather than later because there's work that, there's timelines in place in terms of certain activities that subcommittees are working on. But I don't know if that's possible that everybody meet before and be prepared to talk about subcommittee goals.
Is it necessary for the committee to ratify goals before you can do that work?
I think for some groups.
Do we need all the subcommittee goals to be approved at the same time? Or
Not
can we
necessarily.
do it as they are ready?
I wonder if everybody will have met by September 25th.
We're meeting for the second time next, B&W's meeting for the second time next week, so
So you're good.
we should be okay.
We're meeting next week.
Personnel is meeting before that, right?
Communication is meeting next week too.
Policy, you said yes? And the building committee's always meeting.
Would it be, I mean, if some subcommittees weren't ready to present on goals, at least talk about progress on
I actually think we're going to be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
Because I'm recognizing that our personnel subcommittee, our agenda is about setting goals. I imagine budget and warrant similarly.
Well, our goal seems to be along the lines of streamlining the whole meeting process,
Yeah.
which begs the question if that should be an agenda item for a near future meeting. Like we've talked about at the retreat, the idea of how we could possibly streamline these meetings. The consent agenda.
Yeah.
So is that
So
something
that
we should
is
be
not-
discussing as a whole committee? at
Yes,
some
like
point?
that's not a budget and warrant conversation necessarily as much as it is a whole committee goal. But
Yeah,
we could do that on September 25th because I think that's not the only whole committee goal that is on the list. So hold on to that and don't let us forget.
I'm just saying, when we're talking about items for next agenda, is that something that should be added to the next agenda?
Let's put it under school committee goals and then we'll make sure that we address the consent agenda and be more efficient. Even more efficient than we are right now. Just saying. Okay. So, without objection, let's move that to the September 25th meeting, and hopefully all the subcommittees will have their goal articulated to some degree and ready to share that evening so that the school committee can discuss as a whole and then hopefully approve. Okay? Which will then put us in a position to not have an additional meeting of thought. We will be presenting and voting on our goals in the next meeting all at one time. Just fair warning on that. Okay. So moving on to our next item, subcommittee and advisory reports. One of the things that our school committees decided to do is kind of condense this item and then just open the floor for any subcommittee chair who has something that they need to share at this moment in time. This may be premature, unless I imagine that the building committee might have something to share.
I don't really have much to share. We're meeting tomorrow night. Progress is moving along swimmingly. I think that, just as a personal comment, I think that Consigli has done an excellent job in creating the pre-construction environment. I think the front of the school looks absolutely fabulous. I think it looks better now than it did before they started the renovations. It really looks fabulous. So they've done an excellent job, and we're meeting tomorrow night, and I'll have more for the next show, next meeting.
Man,
Yes.
I just want to echo Attorney Gleason's point. And in preparing for the opening of school, you always expect delays on the opening of school. It was amazing how well everything was planned out, the transition of students and faculty and staff in relatively minimal delays. Mr. McCarron worked closely with the transportation department to make it all happen. Consigli was on site, observing, watching, making adjustments They still are. As a matter of fact, we talked about that in OAC today. So thank you, Attorney Gleason, for recognizing them, because I do think they did an outstanding job of getting us started for the school year, because that matters when it comes to people's attitudes about the project.
Yeah, and I would just add that I had to go to a soccer game at the far corner of the campus, right, that upper field yesterday. And it's a bit of a walk, but it is completely accessible. It is actually quite lovely to walk the field back there. I didn't realize how expansive that softball and into the tree, there's a path. So I thought that considering how bad it could have been to access those fields, it was actually really good, and everybody was doing a great job getting back there. I would say too that a little shout out to Dr. Boynton. If you don't have a high schooler, you perhaps did not receive this video, but it was an instructional video on how the student should enter the parking lot. And the way that she did it was she actually sat in the driver's seat, and the wolf was in the passenger seat, and somebody was in the back seat. I don't know if it was you, Kirk, or somebody. Somebody's in the back seat.
You don't reveal trade secrets.
Filming it, and so there was a voiceover talking about to the students how you enter the building, and Kate replicated it, and she drove, and she went in, then she parked, and then she left. And my kid was completely aware, I'm sure most and everybody was, completely aware of how to make it happen. So there are many layers of attention given to this, not just our construction team, but also the high school team. So I appreciate that.
Well, to that excitement and that level of oversight did trickle down. I think that it's worth mentioning too about our athletic director and all of the coaches. I mean, they're being very flexible, and it's been really great as a new high school parent to see how they're communicating all of the changes, and the kids seem great.
Jane? Yeah, I was just going to weigh in as the parent of a kid who's on the soccer team. That has also been much easier than I anticipated, with the buses bringing the kids to Forbush and bringing them back to the high school. And there were a lot of changes that were rolled out, and it went well.
So we thought the hard part was getting the communities to approve, but that was not the hard part. You guys are in the hard part, so thank you.
That's a great team.
Yeah, so thanks everyone. Any other subcommittee reports now? Seems Budget and Warrant maybe is the only one who's met, but they will report out next time. All right, guys, so items for next agenda. You can see the school committee planning calendar is posted. I hope everybody has viewing access at a minimum. So our next meeting, as you know, is going to be September 25th. Everything is on there. So school committee goals, we will do that then. Kurt, can we talk a little bit about superintendent goals?
Yep.
Do you know what that is, that bullet?
Those are my goals.
Do you know that you're going to be doing your presentation at that meeting?
I was planning on it.
Okay, so the personnel...
I'll always take the direction of the chair.
I think we might need to push it a little bit because personnel is going to meet a day or two before to identify all the indicators.
That's quite fine. We're well on our way to actually developing the document, and we're working on it with our principal team tomorrow. So I will take the direction of the chair.
Okay, so maybe next Wednesday
Bring it
we
to the
can
meeting
meet,
committee.
you and I can talk about what's best there.
Quite fine.
And Sharon, maybe we can even invite Kirk to personnel if you feel it's
Please.
necessary. I mean, nobody's been elected a chair of a subcommittee yet, but I'm turning to Sharon because she's taking the lead at this moment. So if we want to invite Kirk, feel free.
Okay, so do you want to do that for that meeting, that Monday night?
I mean, we already did a lot of the work at the workshop. I don't know that it's necessary, but maybe we make Kirk aware of it, and if he wants to attend, it's his project.
Okay.
Do you think we all have access to this?
I think you do.
Because that says 7 people have access to it, and I don't have
Well, that's
access
what
to
they're
it.
currently looking at it.
No.
As far as,
Well,
I
again-
can't find it in the document share, but that's why, oh wait, maybe not. I see 23, 24, but not 24, 25.
Interesting.
After you deal with that, I have a question.
So it is marked as anyone with the link can view, and so
The link is on the website.
it's on the website. And so if you guys go to the home page of the school committee, on the left taskbar, which is not viewable on a mobile device, by the way.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funky thing. But if you go on your desktops or laptops, there's a calendar drop down, and let's see.
Yep.
Do you see it there?
SC meeting calendar. SC planning calendar. Got it. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Oh, you got it. Okay, good. All right, fabulous. So if you guys have, so obviously Kirk and I meet every Wednesday to form the agendas. We will be resuming that practice. If you don't have any ideas right now and something comes to you, just email me and I'll put it on my list to talk with Kirk to set the next agenda for the 25th. But if there are any ideas now?
This is going back to the personnel meeting about the indicators, and there was an indicator survey that went out, and I just remembered I didn't do it, so then I went to click on it, and then I remembered that the indicators I was linked to may have been an older version.
They were fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we
That was
solved
my-
that problem. Remember, we discovered that they were actually most up to date.
Thank you.
Yes.
Superintendent.
Okay,
So we're good there.
thank you.
So if you didn't do that survey at the workshop indicating what you would like the superintendent to focus on in his 8 indicators, that survey is still open and personnel is meeting next week. So feel free to weigh in. If you don't want to, that's okay too, although I do encourage you to do so.
Under unfinished business, I would like to we have not met with Dear Jay this year. They're meeting as a group on October 1st for the first time, so I'd like to request that be pushed back.
And so what I'm going to do is just throw it out to October 9th, and if you still want to push out beyond that,
I would push out beyond that.
yeah, okay. Just kidding. So now we're looking at October 23rd, perhaps? Let's just see how it goes. Anything else on the future agenda?
One thing for me. Just want to make the committee aware, November 6th is the date of the Mask Joint Conference. Myself, Attorney Gleason, and Mr. Mulcairn will be attending the conference this year. So we'll have, I think we're going to do the OWL setup so that we can attend the meeting remotely that evening, and Ms. Friend will occupy my seat here, and I just want to make the committee there. So I took some of the business and shifted it out of the 6th to make for a friendly agenda for that evening, but it is an important evening, as that's the night that our principals will bring forward the school improvement plans.
And I feel like last year we flip-flopped the remote and in-person meetings, so if that's an option for you, although I would like to see Laura run a meeting. Help me run a meeting. If you do in a flip-flop, that's an option. So you
We can talk and plan.
Okay. Any other future agenda items?
We're going to have policy stuff, but we have to meet about that and kind of hammer that out. So stuff is coming.
But we love it. We love policy. Okay, so just let us know, Amy, what you need. Anything else? All right, so as always, guys, just stay in communication with me if you need to, and I will help you on that. So the agenda says that the next item is adjournment for an all-time record of, I'm going to move to adjourn right now at 7:26 p.m. Do I have a second?
Second.
I think that Cohen got it. All those in favor? Any opposed? No. Okay, good night, everybody.